Facebook. Here we go.
Now I'm feeling nervous.
Are you?
Excited, nervous. What was that? They recorded it, didn't they? Are they still?
We're still, yeah, we're in the webinar. We're just waiting for it. There we are. There we are. Hi, everyone. All right, so there we go. Here we are. Welcome, everybody. Just move that.
This is exciting.
Do you want to move closer?
Sorry, yes. I like it when you get bossy. It's good. Go for it.
Says Miss Control Freak. So welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. We've been wanting to do something like this for a long time.
Long time.
Yeah.
Years.
Why haven't we?
But we didn't know it was going to be about this, though, did we? I didn't.
No, we've always been closet performers. Well, I wouldn't say closet performers. We've always been pretty out there.
I have.
Much to other people's disgust.
Gotta get my voice going. I hope that was professional.
Yeah, it was great. We won't be singing tonight, though. So this is our thing now. So we're going to talk about our most vulnerable parts and
the parts that we've hid most of our lives.
Yes,
What the hey?
Yeah. Isn't that hilarious? We were just having this conversation before we started saying, this is kind of crazy. You know, we've been conditioned all our lives to be normal. And here we are presenting ourselves totally vulnerable, totally raw, totally authentic, just as we are.
And I have to say, the pressure to be normal is quite intense.
It is.
I'm going to just start rocking. That feels so much better. Oh, jeez.
So let's start with the questions then. Thank you so much for all the beautiful questions that you sent in via email. We have them printed out here. Kelly's the organised one.
Although they're not in order. I'm so sorry about that.
All right, let's kick it off. Do you want to read out the first
one?
one?
Well, the first one is, what do you love about being...
Sorry to interrupt, but this is just water.
Let's have a drink, why don't we?
So the first question is... You're supposed to be reading it out. What do you love about being autistic? Do you want to go first?
I love my imagination. I love my child's imagination.
That makes me want to laugh straight away.
Why?
Because
What's so funny about that?
my diagnosis report said Christy lacks imagination.
Now, why would it say that? Why would it say that?
Well, it says that because I was presented with a piece of string, a toy car and a wooden block and asked to make a story. I wasn't very good at it, let's just say. But yeah.
Make a story with those three items.
Yes, make a story, a detailed story with those three items. But there were other exercises to test my imagination. But I think they were being very specific about type of imagination.
Why don't they just ask us what we do?
Well, they do that as well.
Do they?
Yeah.
And they didn't get any...
Look, honestly, I think also it came down to the fact that I will not waste my time watching or reading fiction. Anything that's not real.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not interested.
Oh,
because
they did like Avatar.
Avatar.
Yeah. Is it Avatar?
Yeah.
No, that's not it.
Yeah, that's it. That's
Is
it.
The blue people.
But that's because it had a beautiful story behind it.
Yes.
God, we are going to get so off track with every single question. Sorry, people. So keep going. Sorry. You love your imagination.
I do. I love that we just did that. How we just spring off into all different areas. It's like our minds are able to go here, there, everywhere, far and beyond.
And never come back.
Sometimes come back.
Sometimes.
And that's the very thing I like to hide sometimes. If I'm around someone who's very, I don't know, staid and doesn't say much. Depends. It depends on their energy, really. If I feel judged, I'll just go, do you know what I mean? I'm just going to totally out you here. Oh, fantastic. I'm going to have some coffee.
She's so bad at pretending that she's listening. In the 15 years we've been friends, before we knew that we were on the spectrum, I used to get so frustrated with you because we'd be sitting at the table and I would be talking and you would just go like this. glaze over and off into
I
the
used to do that
moonlight
with
you
my
go.
students. My students would say, Callie, are you listening?
Yeah,
What?
are you there? Yeah, yeah.
So am I doing that now?
No,
I'm
you're not,
trying really hard to hear what
no,
you're
you're not
saying.
doing that. You're not doing that. What else do you love about your autism?
God, talk about pressure.
You like pressure?
Sometimes I do. Sometimes I don't.
I like the imagination too. I love the creativity.
Mm.
I love that because of my Asperger's brain, I am gifted with music. So I've been able to play
Jealous.
instruments. What are you talking about?
Jealous. You can play.
You
and
can
you're
play.
a great singer.
But you can play.
Gosh. Not like you.
Oh,
You hear a song and
this is like the staple of our friendship where we constantly just go, oh, you do that better. I'm so awful. You're great too. But yeah, because of this type of brain, I'm great with music. You're an amazing artist.
I like to be creative in that way.
Oh, you're so
My
amazing.
brain came alive when I studied graphic arts. I realised after 3 weeks my brain was just on fire, couldn't sleep. I thought, oh my God, my brain's been so bored. I didn't know I was bored though.
I look at your art pieces and I just go, how do you do that? How does your brain get around light and shadow and texture?
You know, what we wear tonight on the webinar, what colours work, what colours don't, move the table around, get the lighting right.
Yeah, that's so not me. I was just like, let's sit at the computer and talk.
No, when you watch a movie, I have to analyse where's the film going, what colours they're wearing, is it matching the scenery?
And she said, yeah, people do that. And I'm like, you do that? I don't know if people do that.
That's what I love about our brains.
Yeah, I love my brain. I do.
It's like we really delve into stuff.
And
we want to know too.
How we connect with people. I'm going to look at you on the screen there, okay?
Okay.
When I talk to you.
Should
It's a bit weird, but it means I won't be going like this to people who are watching.
So sorry, everybody. Sorry.
I love how we connect with people. So our connection, the way we engage with people, we're so in there, you know, like I want to know everything there is to know about people. I don't really want to talk about the weather or
blue cupcakes. Although if it's your special interest, fantastic.
Yes.
But blue cupcakes.
Would that be someone's special interest?
Yeah,
I'm looking at you again.
Sorry. Yeah, because there are people who get right into, you know, cake making and decorating and, you know, the detail of that.
But see, I don't mind those conversations because I'm fascinated by the depth and intensity of their passion. That's what I'm looking for in a human being. What
makes them tick?
Yes. I love that stuff.
Yes.
And I love our levels of empathy.
Yes.
For me personally, because I know we're not all the same with that, but I guess as a younger person, I felt really burdened by it. Like I can't watch a lot of current affairs or the news or read papers or anything like that because I'm traumatized by pain, other people's pain. And, you know, we learn to shut that stuff down and then people say we don't have empathy. But do we
really? We learn to shut it down?
Well, I've learnt to minimise my emotional responses to things, definitely, or to avoid certain things in life that I'll feel emotionally overwhelmed by because trauma.
Yes.
Absolute trauma. And because we're so, the way we think, we associate smells, what we feel, what we see, what we taste with certain memories. If it's a traumatic memory, we're constantly re-triggered in everyday life. If we smell a smell that we just happen to smell at that time or we hear a song or...
I'm only related because we now have a service pup and our family pet died when I was in grade 5 and I cried nearly every night for 4 years straight because I felt so upset that I felt like I killed my dog on the road because I didn't have a lead. And so now when I'm taking my service pup for a walk, I'm having flashbacks all the time.
Trigger warning. Sorry, guys. Too late for that.
Sorry. Is that what you're talking about? Like that sort of, because I felt deeply for my animal and I love my animal and I was painting about this dog and I didn't even know.
You still paint about your dog.
Yeah, I
in
do.
Every single one of your pieces is your dog.
Yeah, it was a massive, I don't know, it was just massive at the time.
So we find other ways.
And I internalised it.
Yes. And it comes out in your creativity,
Mm.
that pain, but also the celebration of the dog's life.
Mm.
You celebrate it, honour it in your paintings.
I do.
Next question.
Okay. God, we did well. How long did that take?
What's
12?
your greatest challenge as an autistic? All of the same things that I love about my brain.
Ooh,
So,
pray tell.
So being a creative person means that, now I wrote a post about this the other day.
You're still looking at me.
Yeah, I am. I'm looking at you. It just comes naturally. I wrote a post about this the other day, and it was about how many of the things that are listed as characteristics of autism, so things like having special interests and that sort of stuff, I actually think that those are natural elements that are designed perfectly by nature to support the autistic brain. If I didn't engage in my creative endeavours, if I didn't write music, sing, play the piano, guitar, if I didn't write, then I know what it is to go without those things, because I did for a number of years.
Long time.
We become quite unwell.
Very unwell.
And the
Depressed,
non-autistic world
anxious,
sees that stuff as obsessive,
restless,
unhealthy,
empty.
and it's imperative for our mental health.
Yeah,
I'm looking at you again.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. I'm aware that when you start looking at me, either through that way or this way, I start looking away because it's the eye contact. So I'm trying to do the eye contact thing.
Yeah.
But my psychiatrist noticed that when I was doing my art, I was a much more grounded human than when I wasn't. And I thought that's very observant of me.
Yes, because we have the kind of brain that needs to be supported by our downtime, our special interests. I kind of hate that it's called special interests, to be honest.
What would you rather call it? I don't mind
Our
special
passions, our interests. I mean,
That's
everything
right.
to do with us has to have this extra label that means
Something
that it's
extra.
extra. Yeah. Anyway.
I know where you're going there. I know where you're going.
I do feel challenged by the level and depth of emotional intensity in response to the world. And I said this is something I love about my Asperger brain, but I'm also incredibly challenged by it, highly sensitive across the board, not just emotionally, physically. I'm intolerant to so many foods and chemicals, and, you know, get migraines.
Smells.
Yeah. I don't have a sense of smell or taste.
I always
anymore.
forget that.
Yeah.
God, what kind of friend am I? I keep
I'm
forgetting
kind
the
of
really
lucky.
important stuff.
But yeah, we're very, very sensitive. So it takes a hell of a lot of groundwork to support our brains and bodies because of our hypersensitivity, and that's challenging.
I just can't believe I was so out of touch.
Oh, for so long.
When I thought I was in touch, like when I stopped drinking and drugging and all that sort of stuff, I thought I was really in touch. But I wasn't still really in touch. I was completely, like,
it's a process.
How I live today, I mean, this is touching on another question. How has life changed since diagnosis or self-diagnosis?
Yeah, let's move into that.
Ooh. Well, you've seen my home today.
Yeah.
You can feel the difference.
Yeah.
I can feel the difference. It's quiet, it's calm, soft music. I don't have people that drop in anymore. It just throws my child and I out. There's a lot that actually goes into our, I don't know how to put it, but
lifestyle, self-care.
There's no chaos. There's no drama. It's very, I don't know. I don't know how to put that into words.
Well, it comes back to the whole thing I was just saying about how the non-autistic world have these perceptions about what it means, what these things that we implement into our everyday life, what it means. So they see us as disengaged or
isolated. People see me as very isolated, but I'm very particular about my engagement now. Quality engagement, it's timed, all that sort of stuff now.
And we do that to support ourselves, to support our brains.
Well, I've got to regulate. I've got thoughts to regulate. I've got feelings to regulate. I have a child that I'm helping to support him and his regulation and understanding his body. He gets exhausted, then he gets energized, and I get exhausted, I get energized, and I've got a whole house to run, and I've got a dog to train, and I've got my own business 5 hours a week to do. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of...
I totally get it. I've got 4 girls, even though one of them's part-time at home, the other's moved out. But 2 little ones, and they're all on the spectrum.
Amazing.
And, you know, everybody on the spectrum is different. So working all that stuff out, it doesn't leave a lot of time to be, and let's face it, what differentiates us from non-autistics is that we don't thrive on social gatherings.
We don't energize on it.
We're not energized
parts that I like
it.
about it.
I love it.
Yes, definitely.
Sometimes.
Especially when there's real connections with people.
Absolutely.
And we go beyond the weather.
Yeah.
And they tell us about their passions and interests, or they tell me something about the world I don't know about, or something.
Yes.
But it's still exhausting.
When we come away, it can take me days to recover.
Weeks. Sometimes those conversations can last.
And we go over them with a fine-tooth comb. What about when they said this? Oh, did I say the right thing? Oh, my God, do you think I upset someone? Oh, was I funny or was I offensive?
Now, see, I think that is the masking stuff. Did I reveal my autism? Did I reveal my difficulties, my challenges? Did I reveal that part of me that's not okay?
And now after people, because I'm totally out about being on the spectrum and well aware that a lot of people might think I'm crazy. How the hell is she on the spectrum? Because they're uninformed. But I'm so aware now that when I go out and I socialise, people know I'm on the spectrum. And now I think, are they looking to see how I'm autistic?
I do that to people. Remember I was saying to you, so this lady, amazing artist, and she's autistic, and I'm going, how is she autistic? Kelly, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You can't tell if someone's autistic by looking at them. See, it's human, I guess, isn't it?
But I can tell as soon as I start coming into their space, I can feel a certain energy about them. And when they start talking.
We have our own questions about that.
Yeah.
Energies of people.
Yeah, so.
Energies of others. Can I do that?
Yeah, totally.
Okay.
So we do have to disengage a lot, and it's not personal, and it doesn't mean that we don't like people or we prefer our own company. We just need a lot of downtime to recover and to stay sane.
And I have a great desire to be authentic. So if I haven't worked out a thought or a feeling about something or someone or a situation, I want to work it out so I know how to engage in it authentically.
Do I? I don't know if I have that. I don't know if I do that.
I sort of only connected with that having watched.
I'm just going to make you
The
wrong.
Good Doctor.
No, you're not. Yeah. Oh, do you watch that? Do you enjoy that?
Oh, my child does. Yeah, I do.
Okay.
I do. I'm pretty tolerant, you know.
Silently judging you. Well, not silently, openly.
Look, I watch very
I'm kidding.
openly. And I pick bits out of there that I like.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it takes him a while to get in touch with his
That's
feelings.
great.
And I go, what? That's me.
Yeah. Well,
That's
it's the same for all of us, I think. Our processing is a little bit slower. So
there's one of those
because
other
we
questions.
feel into our thinking. We don't just
Powering.
our thoughts and feelings aren't separate like non-autistics. They're pretty much the same thing. And so there's a lot of emotion attached to our thoughts.
Right. So why is it so difficult to process our thoughts and feelings and to work them through? There you go.
Because of our brain type. Because there's so much energy and emotional energy attached to our thoughts. But also, we've spent a large part of our lives before we knew we were autistic.
So we weren't diagnosed early.
We weren't. But even when people are, there's this societal kind of understanding that we're a little bit less than and our thoughts and feelings aren't reliable. We need to be challenged and we're too sensitive.
Because we can't know. Is that the thing? We can't really know. We can't really.
Yeah, unreliable.
Because we can't read people, so therefore.
Well, we have a disorder.
Oh.
Remember? The word attached to our brain is disorder. So really people, how many times have you had someone throughout your life say, why don't you look at it a different way? Or I'd like to challenge you on that. Yeah, you're too sensitive, way too sensitive. And sometimes, you know, I understand that and I don't mind being challenged.
I understand that.
But when you hear that a lot throughout your life, it disarms you. And so you have this self-doubt instilled, that seed is planted, and you go through a large chunk of your life thinking, well, I don't really know. My thoughts and feelings aren't really reliable because I'm autistic.
And I have felt lots of people haven't taken me seriously. And then I don't take myself seriously. So I goofed around a lot. Or I talk really fast because I feel like I'm taking up too much time and too much space.
Yeah. Oh, that's so sad. Isn't that sad?
Yeah.
So your process to come to terms with or to identify your thoughts and feelings, because also what happens is we can become really overwhelmed by a situation and kind
quickly
of freeze in it.
Oh, I hate those moments.
And we don't know how to respond or how to feel like, oh my God, did they just do something really offensive, or am I too over the top? So you like to write it out a lot, don't you?
Paint it and write it.
Yeah. I just like to think about it for 17.5 years and then, you know.
I do like to sit on the bottom of the shower and think.
Do you?
Oh, I love that.
I personally enjoy waking up at 3 a.m.
Oh, I do like that.
I should have said this in 1943.
And then I go, let's research that. Get on my phone, right?
Yeah, you love researching.
I do love researching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like to Google things. I like to research. I mean, I do proper research as well.
I'm completely lost on what question we're up to. Just had to put that out there.
Identifying our thoughts and feelings.
Great.
Why is it so
difficult?
You're
listening.
Next question.
Yes, go ahead.
Why are we so predisposed to abuse or unhealthy relationships? Ties in with the last question. Yeah. Well, I had somebody ask me, and this is a tricky thing to answer because I don't like to advise parents about what type of therapy to choose. I just give information about what makes a great therapy, what supports autistic people working with their strengths and their capacities rather than coming in from a deficit-based angle.
I love that.
And I find too, and I mean, as a parent, my approach is really informed by the writing and the thoughts and experiences of adult autistics. So what I learned is that something really important in our autistic children is around the choice of therapies, because we want to teach about healthy relationships by empowering particularly young girls to know that they have the right and the freedom and the space to say no and to make choices and to be heard. And when we're embarking on, for example, any kind of compliance therapies where the goal is just to have the child comply rather than working with their strengths, we do run a risk of instilling a fear of saying no.
Well, yes. I really like supporting my child to listen to himself and his feelings and his thoughts. And he likes to tell me up front, actually, he's taught me to do that. And, you know, things like, Mum, my head and my heart have not come together on that. And I will not do that. And I go, oh my gosh, I wish I had that language at 6.
No.
6 and he's talking like that.
But how fortunate, because, you know, he has a mum who supports that.
Well, I learned how to support that.
Yeah, well, we don't get a choice, let's be honest.
I went along thinking, what would my child know? He's a child. Yeah. I can't trust my child.
Well,
I know better. I'm meant to know better. I better do better. Yeah. And he proved me wrong about that.
Yes.
He often proves me wrong, and I'm quite happy to say to him often, you've proved me wrong yet again.
And I feel, God, it's such a difficult journey, isn't it? Because
painful.
When you've grown up with conventional parenting, which, you know, I'm not speaking out against. I'm just saying that for a lot of our autistic children, it just doesn't work. And I feel so blessed that I've had some children who don't really give me a choice in what kind of parenting approach I implement. It's gentle all the way. It's acceptance all the way. But that doesn't mean we don't lose our cool from time to time and feel frustrated. Because when you're on the spectrum yourself, you have your own challenges around your own needs not being met. Sensory sensitivity, for me, sound is a huge one. And I have some children who are very, very boisterous and noisy, which I love about them, but it takes its toll.
I wear my headphones a lot. Put on those headphones.
I can't.
Yeah, I'm fortunate. I can. It doesn't annoy me.
See, I have headphones, but when I put them on, I feel out of balance. I feel like I've lost a sense, and so I feel really disoriented. Beep, beep. Okay, next question.
Which one do you want to do?
How has your parenting changed? We kind of just answered that. How has life changed since diagnosis? Well, I
Enormously.
Yeah, transformational.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Do you know what, though? I will say this. I've been assessed twice and diagnosed twice, and the second time I tried really hard to appear non-autistic and I lost. But the first assessment, I sat in the chair and the psychologist said to me after 2 days, yes, you're on the autism spectrum. And I cried. My first response was to cry. And she said, what is it that's making you feel so emotional? I said, well, a couple of things. Firstly, I'm grieving for the life that I tried to have that I will never have, because this whole time I thought I was an apple and I was an orange. And everything I did in life was striving toward being something I'm never going to be. But the grief was around how much of my life I'd wasted doing that. But the relief that, oh my God, I'm not, how crazy, but I thought I'm not disordered. This is normal for me.
Yeah.
I'm not a broken version of a neurotypical.
It explains me.
I am a perfectly whole, complete, normal autistic. This is exactly how I'm supposed to think and feel and do and be. This is normal. And 33 years, self-hatred, self-rejection, drugs and alcohol.
How about self-doubt?
Oh, self-doubt.
I reckon, that touches on why we predisposed to abuse or unhealthy relationships is my self-doubt, not listening, not trusting my gut.
And not feeling like we have a right to have
choices,
our needs met.
Oh, yes.
Not being able to identify what our needs are.
Oh, not being able to identify. I have so many, I was going to say ridiculous needs. I have a lot of needs.
Yeah.
It took me a long time to get in touch with that. And yes, I can feel like a real deal for having them. Oh my God, Kelly, you're so over the top. Do you really need to do this?
Yeah.
God, you're special, aren't you? You're very special.
And the comments about now I've got to say I don't have people make negative comments toward me because I think they're a bit scared too, because I'm a bit of a bulldog.
Angry.
Apparently I'm angry. I used to be. But the comments around, oh, since you were diagnosed, you've just, you've really let go. You've become so autistic.
What is that anyway?
But it's about recognising what our needs are and working with them so that we can be healthy, wholesome, happy human beings, because we have the right to be those things.
Now that transition's a bit tricky. The transition from going, I thought I was a neurotypical to, I'm not neurotypical, I'm autistic. There's that, what does all that mean? What does it look like? What does it sound like? What is it in me? And all that sort of stuff, to then start to make changes in my life, in my friendships and relationships. That rocks the boat.
And how about this one?
Oh,
I've just spent 33 years trying to make everyone like me. And now everyone thinks I'm crazy because I said I'm autistic. So much letting go.
Oh, geez.
So much letting go, so much grief.
It's hard because I'm a person who really, I don't know what the words are, but hinge my well-being. I have hinged my well-being on others approving or liking, thinking good of me. And that's been extraordinarily painful. I mean, my child really started to shake that up because of who he is. He does and says things that, a lot of human beings
don't approve of
and don't understand. And they're very vocal about or verbal about what they think about my child, to me. It's painful.
What is that?
It's painful. That's what it is.
What is that in human beings, that they feel they have the right to judge anybody's parenting, anybody's life experience?
Telling my child they're rude.
Children, they are children.
Oh, and for a while there, I thought my child was rude because I didn't understand what was driving behind the behaviour or behind the words. And now I come from a very compassionate place, and it's a beautiful place.
It is.
I'm so grateful for this. Very grateful.
Painful
for this.
though. There's still lots of painful moments. Letting go. People, places and things, letting go. Because I'm very intolerant now of anything that threatens to disturb the connection between
Yes.
myself and my children,
Number one.
myself and my sense of self, my self-esteem,
Definitely.
my daily life,
Yes.
what I need to implement into my daily life to be sane and healthy,
See,
and to be happy.
This is where we've come from,
Mm.
right?
Total 180.
That is upside down.
Yeah.
Can we talk about, because I was a big drinker. I starved myself to do like
eating disorder.
eating
Yeah,
disorders.
yeah,
I would overspend, so that caused a lot of financial insecurity, and that caused a lot of anxiety and panic. So here I was living a life like that, right? Completely out of touch. Well, I didn't know I was trying to regulate my body because I didn't know I was autistic. I understand I was regulated through all these different ways. Yeah. And
anything
now,
to take us away from the pain of being us.
but see, we don't do that anymore. We don't drink, drug, pop pills, overspend, all that sort of jazz. So regulation
I still overspend.
is more regulation. I love op shopping. Regulation is more of a natural. Just saw my bra.
Yeah.
Just saw my bra.
It's a have to. It's a must do. We don't have a choice around it because here's the thing
tell us about that. Tell us about we don't have a choice about that.
Body. We do a lot of talking about the autistic brain, but we don't talk a lot about our bodies. And I guess because people might think this is a bit airy-fairy, but our bodies,
airy-fairy about it.
Our bodies are so sensitive too, just like our brains. And here's the thing, because our thinking lags somewhat,
this is amazing then. I think this is, sorry, I've just completely interrupted you, but we're, I don't know if managing is the right word, but we're trying to manage the light. The light affects me. We've got people watching. I can't see you. I've got eyes where I'm looking. There is a lot going on for us to have this conversation. We've got questions, all this, to follow. Somehow that was relevant to what you're talking about.
It is really relevant, yeah.
Oh, because the body's reacting, our minds are reacting.
Yes,
we've got to think fast.
Even when we don't make, and this ties in with what you were saying about addiction and eating disorders, and our body's desperately trying to regulate, bring us back to a state of equilibrium. So when we're not making a choice about implementing healthy things right for our autistic brains and bodies, our body will go, okay, I need to keep this person alive. This is not okay. I'm going to make them feel anxious and try and alert them to the fact that they're in danger. Yep. So we're often in a constant state of anxiety, and in the autistic brain, fight or flight is well overactive. So if it's not anxiety, it'll be something else. So the body will go, I'm starving, hungry. Let's see if eating will bring us back to a state of balance. So we might compulsively overeat. Something's wrong here. Maybe we need to, let's get drunk. That'll feel great. We'll feel better. Let's do drugs. Whatever our body does, it's doing it to support us. It thinks its job is to keep us alive, so it desperately seeks out how to bring us back into a state of equilibrium.
Yeah, right.
So when we identify that actually we have an autistic brain and we learn
and body,
this is what we need to stay in a state of balance, we might find, well, you and I have found, we don't need alcohol or drugs. We don't need to compulsively overeat anymore or engage in eating disorders.
And if we do, there's a great sense of self-love and acceptance. I think that's the key.
Yeah.
Definitely the key. But just going back,
because we'll always have an autistic brain and body, and we won't always know what we need.
Yeah, so in the past, I didn't know that when it was a windy day, it was going to be hell on earth for me. I mean, we're not even talking about getting me out of the house or out of my bedroom, because clothes, the tactile stuff is a big thing for me. I'm really over bras and jocks. I wish I could get rid of them, and sometimes I do. But so getting out in the weather, like looking out, I go, okay, it's a windy day. I know I won't be able to last long out in the weather. I know I'll be grumpy, I'll be agitated. Yeah. Whereas in the past, I didn't know I was agitated. And then I didn't know why I was agitated. Oh, and then I turn in on myself. Oh, I was grumpy with that person. I'm a terrible person. What a horrible person I am for being grumpy at that person. Well, I was grumpy because I was not regulated. I was agitated.
Sensory issues.
Yes. I mean, that's just one element. That's just one example.
See, I liken that to, and I think a lot of undiagnosed autistics do this, and this is why they don't get a diagnosis, because we look at our family history. Now, for me, a specific example is I can't stand too much noise. Now, if we had a
I'm the
telly
same.
on in the background right now,
Forget it.
I can't listen to you, and I have sensory processing disorder. So that means that if I'm in a restaurant, if you're sitting right there, your voice I cannot hear.
I know.
Everything's the same level of
It's
noise.
amazing.
My brain can't decipher whether something's right here or over there. It's all the same.
I get it.
Now, I grew up watching my grandmother and my mother go, oh, can somebody please turn that bloody TV off? I can't hear a thing. So I just went, I'm just like my mum and my nan. And we do that a lot. Well, actually, that can be indicative of an autistic brain. So we find reasons for the way we are rather than knowing that there's actually biological and neurological reasons.
And because I'm aware of my body, my mind, I can regulate by just turning the music off, turning it down. But my child can do this very well now too. Mum, turn the music off. Mum, I need time out.
Yeah.
Now I'm ready to go outside, Mum. No, Mum, I need to, do you know what I mean? He's listening to his own body. And that's going to sustain him in life.
Yes.
Because, you know,
yes,
our lifespan's not that long.
But I think there's something really sad about this too. Really challenging and really difficult. For so many families who have children on the spectrum, the lengths they have to go to sustain an environment of a healthy sense of self for their children can often mean withdrawing them from mainstream schooling, not engaging them with the outside world too much because of those people that like to comment when you're lining up at the grocery store and your child's not coping. Or, you know, because society in general doesn't tend to really support having a healthy sense of self. We're all about, you know, one example is anxiety for us, and I've got a great deal of acceptance around my anxiety. I hate it. I don't love it.
It's a communicator.
It is a communication, right? So I've learnt to work with it.
Yes.
But I have no judgment around people using medication or whatever they need to do to look after themselves.
Absolutely none.
But the first thing society says is not okay, not good, not okay to not feel great all the time. Let's do something about it and fix it. And we can't fix it.
No.
So we feel in a constant state of failure.
So no control over the responses to how our body works, the environment, all that sort of stuff.
You know, I get migraines if I have too much input.
Is there too much input now?
There's a lot of input.
You do.
I took Panadol.
I'm so glad I don't get
I had an
migraines.
espresso shot. I listened to some binaural sounds. Still got a low-level migraine. And later on tonight, I'll probably really suffer.
I can't tell. Which they can't
Well, it's
tell
not
either.
really bad at the moment. But I cannot do anything to take away my migraines because my body is so persistent and strong and knows what I need. So it's saying to me quietly now, here's a migraine, just letting you know you're probably overdoing it a bit. And how many years do we go on not knowing this and we end up with autoimmune disease?
Yes.
Chronic illness.
You and I have been very physically ill for a long time.
Bedridden. Chronic fatigue.
I had that.
Fibromyalgia.
Yes.
Crohn's disease.
Oof.
Yeah, very common amongst autistics. And because our bodies take on a lot of our emotional energy that we cannot process cognitively, our bodies become burdened and take that on to keep us alive and become very unwell.
Hey, do you think that internalizing, is that our internalizing has to be a part of that?
Yes.
It's crazy how good I'm at internalizing. I have a girlfriend that tells me that she cannot tell when I'm internalizing, that I've
and
just
this is
done
why
such
people
a
don't
good
believe
job.
we're on the spectrum, because women in particular, and I can only speak for women because I am one.
That's one of the questions. How do you mask?
We don't have a choice. We learn it very, very young. It's social conditioning. It's cultural conditioning. You behave a certain way, otherwise you are not accepted. You are punished. There are consequences
Ridiculed.
Socially. Yeah, and nobody wants that. And especially us, we just want to fit in so bad. I don't really care anymore, but we want to fit in so bad that we will completely shut off who we are and reject it and hate it to be like everyone else.
Which we don't really, I mean, I don't really want to be anyone else. That's the funny thing about it. I really like who I am today.
Yeah.
I wish I liked myself years ago.
Me too. It's so
Such a
sad,
waste.
isn't it? Yeah, but it's not. But you know what? How many people get into adulthood and discover they're autistic? And for me, it answered everything.
It's the fit.
It's like, how many adults have a word or an explanation for every question they ever had about themselves?
I know. It's wonderful.
We have that.
I know, it's wonderful. I know.
What a gift.
Look, how's this? When I do a lot of research, because I've been researching lately, I feel a little bit slow on the uptake around it, but though.
You always say this.
But anyway, so I find that about women and our autism, it's always our challenges and difficulties come up first. Yet I think we are.
In what you're finding online, like what you're
yeah,
reading.
it's always our challenges and difficulties, our challenges.
Yes, our
But
deficits.
we are pumped with really good stuff.
Oh, such good stuff. I mean, look at us.
Just
Such
ask
good
us.
stuff. No, it's true though.
We
Deficit
are.
based.
It is.
It's a disorder.
It is. And so no wonder no one wants to be autistic. No, I don't want to be autistic.
You're getting really loud.
Thanks for letting me know. I'm getting excited.
I'm getting excited
It's
too.
7:43. We have 17 minutes.
We're doing well.
I can't believe I worked out the math. I'm not good at math. And I did read the other day that if you can't do math,
You're so self-deprecating. So
but I'm not. I don't mind not being good
it's
at
too
maths.
much.
Oh,
yeah.
was it?
I'm great at math. I fit the stereotype. I just want to pop my hand up and say, so good at maths.
I wish
so
I
good at
liked
maths.
numbers, but no, I won't open mail.
I get a kick
No.
out of doing taxes.
And I don't like opening mail because it could be forms. Don't like filling out forms. Now I understand. This is the thing about knowing my needs.
See, I don't have
Now
that.
I understand that it's not a stupid thing to ask someone to help me to fill out a basic form. I'm 44. And I was terrified.
She's old. Do the math. She's old.
Do the math.
I love maths, but there are so many things about female autistics that people aren't aware of.
Let's go. Let's do it.
Is this a question?
Yeah, it's yours.
All right, what's the question?
That one. What aren't people aware of in regards to? Yeah, come on. Let's do
okay.
it. Let's do it.
Well, we tend to be deeply connected to something not of this world.
Ooh,
You
went to the wing one.
Like,
No, they
we're often very spiritual beings. Now, that doesn't have to mean religious. It doesn't even have to mean anything commercially spiritual. It just
Or
means
entity, because I'm not into any of that stuff.
we're very intuitive. Well, you know what? Again, I can only speak for myself and about other women that I've spoken to, hundreds. We're very intuitive. We are highly creative.
Intuitive. I love that. Intuitive. We are.
You've got to write everything down. Always writing everything
I
down.
can capture it much better if I've got the notes. Anybody wants the notes, you just email Christy.
Well, they've got the webinar.
Oh, yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Anyway,
They probably won't want to listen
if
to this.
those who are not confident writers or
Pardon?
can't write, I've written them down. Not everybody can write.
She's going to send this.
No, you gotta see the other side.
She's going to send this to you all. What a
Just laugh
blessing.
like that.
What a blessing. We'll just do some photocopies, envelope them up, send them out.
We're running out of
No,
time.
Mum.
You got 15 minutes to nail.
So time obsessed.
15 minutes to nail. What were we nailing? What people don't know about.
What do
autistic
people
women.
not know about you?
Oh, that's a big question. I need time to think.
Water, drinking a
I
lot
need
of
to
water.
process that question. What people don't know about me. No, that's too big. You go ahead. I love this thing, intuitive.
Well, we're so much more than science and math geeks.
I've read that a lot. And I go, well, where are all the other different subjects and interests? There's a whole bunch of them.
Yeah. Many of us are in some form of healing work. So that might be a masseuse or a Reiki healer or teachers. So many of us are
Don't say
teachers.
that.
We
Don't
love
say
to be
that.
organised. We're more often than not in helping and healing professions, And
Deeply connected.
Deeply connected.
You're
Look at this eye
touching,
contact.
you're touching my shoulder.
I'm a very touchy-feely person.
I'm tactile defensive.
And I'm quite intense with the eye contact.
Now, I don't mind it because you're my friend, but
Mm.
other people can go,
Tell you what I don't like.
stop looking.
I don't like when you're sharing something really vulnerable about yourself and someone's making eye contact, and that's fine, but then the conversation ends and they're still doing this. That's weird. I feel weird with that. I have to look away.
I feel like it's an overshare. Some of you may relate to that. I feel like I overshare quite a lot when I get excited or I'm enthusiastic or I want to deeply connect with someone. I go, blah, 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 and then I go, oh my God, stop talking, it's too late, I've started. Walk away, and then that shame starts. And I walk away, I go, oh no,
Am I an oversharer?
Sometimes. Of course you are.
Okay, don't give examples. That's oversharing. Don't do it. I know exactly what you're going to say, something I said today, and we're not going to go there.
Thanks for pulling me up. So we're deeply connected. We're intuitive, keeping you on track. Got to keep her on track.
I need to mask more. Sorry, I need to be more.
We did our masking when you did the intro for your Facebook page.
The little ad.
Yeah, that was
we were
masking.
A bit robotic, actually, weren't we? We were very stiff, like, come and watch us tonight at 7 o'clock. Please,
I'm asking.
7 o'clock
I'm
on
asking,
the dot.
I'm trying to look normal and okay. I'm trying to look normal. What a terrible thing to say.
It is a terrible thing to say.
No, I'm going to say that's put down. Why
It's
can't
offensive.
why can we all just be ourselves and
Yeah.
be perfectly ourselves?
Yeah. But I think we make many non-autistics feel put out with our needs, and that's a problem. Like, not necessarily make them feel that it does take a lot of work for services to cater to what we need.
It interferes. Like, I look at my child.
Stops the flow.
If I look at my child, the way his beautiful self
Did you just
is.
burp?
No, I was doing that before.
Oh.
Not farting though, can I say that?
Oh, you already did. There goes my professionalism and credibility.
Just keeping it real, Christy.
Thank you for that.
However, it's all about interfering with what I want, and that's been part of the painful journey. Letting go what I want to do, what I want to do now. No, I'm resting. No, I want to do this. No, I want to do that. No, it's having to come on board with my child meant stopping a lot of stuff that I was doing before.
Yes. You know
what I mean? And a lot of people say, Kelly, have a break. Well, there's different ways to have a break. I don't have breaks as I used to, which is have hours.
In the traditional sense.
The days when I have hours off. Like tonight is a big night for me. I'm away from my child. It's the 4th night out. I would call this a night out.
She's on a rant. She loves talking about herself. Try and stop her.
In over 3 years. Now, some people do that in like a week, and I've done it 4 times. You're the first friend I've spent out in over 3 years. And so imagine, and a lot of people can because they're experiencing this, what that's like. I don't go to weddings.
That was my life for about
parties,
5 years.
Social events.
I didn't have a choice. I couldn't even go to the supermarket.
I quite like not going to a lot of those now. But
in fact, even now when I'm, because I co-parent, so when I'm on my own with my children, I don't get to leave the house because I can't manage my children on my own because of their needs. One of my children has significant support needs, and is so just thrives in other areas, but being able to manage the safety for both of my children, both of my little girls, just really, really tough. So we don't get to go to the shop. We might go for a drive, but we don't get out of the car.
5 minutes quick. But my shopping is all about for my child, my family.
Yeah.
And I have to say,
hi, Fiona.
Aww.
Fiona's from Ireland. I'm so excited that Fiona's here. She's like one of our biggest supporters. She listens to our podcast.
Hi, Fiona.
And she's constantly supporting us. So, hi, Fiona.
We'll support you.
Thanks for being here. Thanks to everybody for being here. We've got 9 minutes left.
Oh, my goodness. Just before you move on from that.
I'm not. Oh, yeah, keep talking.
What are you doing now? Oh, she's lost me. She's lost me.
I've not lost you. I'm checking to see if. Okay. I haven't
doing
lost
a Christy
you.
thing right now. She's
All
just.
right, sorry, a bit technologically advanced if you don't hardly mind.
When I hear that.
When you hear what?
you know, not being able to leave the house.
Yeah.
You know, I used to struggle in that.
Yeah.
Right. And
Oh, yeah, I know what you're going to say.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And now I love it. Yeah. I love being with my child.
And we work so hard at creating this beautiful, we were talking today about living in a minimalist environment, and that's really important to me. My house echoes because there's so little in my home, because the more echo I hear, the less anxiety I feel. Like, I don't have to clean as much because we don't have as much stuff. We have our house set up so that it supports all of our needs, so that it's spacious. The colours are very neutral, white and brown. Just, we've created this life that works really well for us. How many people get to do that?
Oh, I would have missed out. I would have completely missed out if it wasn't for my child. I really believe that.
Oh, don't even get me started on
we can't,
what my children have given me.
Got 8 minutes to go. What
do you want to talk about? I think, have we moved through all of the
questions?
questions?
No, we've only got 2. Well,
any questions left? No, that's it. We've gone through all the questions.
How to set boundaries with people who dismiss our very real challenges. Where do we begin?
Oh, like I said before, I don't have people make comments about my lifestyle or how I parent, because I give off a very rock solid energy about, no.
You've helped me with that. You really have helped me with that.
You know why?
I'm still learning how to do that.
Many people will say that there's no place for anger. And let me tell you something. I believe, because autistics are famously known for struggling to regulate our emotions. Now, I will say this. I don't go around abusing people. I'm quite regulated most of the time. I internalise my anger. I believe, again, that nature has designed this dysregulated emotional state for us as a form of protection. My anger has been my greatest ally.
Befriending our anger is important.
Recognising it, feeling it has helped me to place boundaries with people and not take crap. And not tolerate people telling me how to raise my children, what my children need, what I need.
Because we've spent a lot of time working on this. We're autistic. What are we going to be doing? We're going to be thinking about always improving. That's what I am. I'm always looking at 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, late at night, in the morning, how can I do this better? How can I do this better? Constantly, how can I do this better?
I'm not doing that at 2 and 3 in the morning. She likes to. I will say this.
Less and less, but
this is why when families do it a certain way that I don't, I have no problem with it. Particularly spectrum families, because it's their journey. They're working things out the way they are.
The best
We're experiential learners.
Definitely.
We learn best through practice and trial and error, and we need to have the right, the freedom, the space, the permission to discover what works for us as a family, and to stop comparing ourselves to non-autistic families, because we're never going to be that. It's never going to work for us. It doesn't mean we don't challenge ourselves to join the land of the living. But these distinctions that are made, living in our own world, we live in the same world as non-autistics. We actually contribute so much to the very same world, but we do it differently. And you get better from us when you support us in supporting ourselves.
Yes, that's very well said. Wow, take that home, sisters. And any gents that might be out there. I don't know.
Anybody that's watching.
That was great. I'm just really taken back by what you just said.
We've got 5 minutes left. Anything, any burning desire to bring anything up?
Gosh, we don't. Look, you only went through 2. Deeply connected and intuitive.
Oh, the things that people don't know about us. No, I didn't. I said we're very creative. I said
I'm gonna write that down.
We're great writers, because often we lack the confidence, or, we fear we're taking up too much space articulating, so we write things much better, have the space and the freedom to do that.
What about the energies of people?
Oh, yes.
We can, can't we? We really feel it.
Well, this is called being empathic. We do a lot of talking about sensory input being overwhelming for autistics, but we don't talk enough about how hypersensitive autistics are to the energy that other human beings bring.
I read it. I read it. If you're sad, I feel it. If you're happy, I feel it. If you're struggling, I feel it. If you don't like me, I feel it. If you're not nice to me, if you're not nice to me and you're pretending you are being nice to me, I feel it.
And people say autistics misread people.
I know.
Now, here's the thing.
Ooh,
I don't misread you. I read your energy perfectly.
Fallacies.
And when you tell me you're okay and I feel that you're not, I know that you're not. I'm not misreading it.
Now, this is interesting. The self-doubt leads me to have been mistreated in the past, to abusive relationships. When I've self-doubted, what I've actually known has got me into a lot of trouble, a lot of pain. Whereas today I really work on not self-doubting, trusting that I'm actually reading that person correctly. Even if I'm wrong, I'm just working on trusting it anyway.
What feels right for you anyway. If someone's energy doesn't feel right for me, then I have the freedom to remove myself from it. Whether I'm right or wrong really is irrelevant. The end.
Wow, already.
We've come to the end. That was a good hour.
Fantastic. I've got a few things to bring up next time we get together, if you're ever going to invite me back.
Well, I mean, this is a group thing. Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much to everybody who came along. Thank you so much to the fantastic questions. If you do have other questions that we haven't addressed, please send them through to support@intunepathways.com.au.
Or if you want to clarify something we've said, if you want to want us to further explain something, for sure,
we could totally do that. Totally.
If you want to criticise us, no, don't contact us.
Don't do that. We can't cope with being challenged. We'll shut down. No, just kidding. I've got a lot better at that. I'm actually okay with it because I have a really strong sense of self.
Good for you. I'm working on it.
Touching again. Oh my God, not really autistic. Anyway, sorry. Getting a bit out of hand now. Thank you, everyone. We'll see you again soon.
Bye.
Bye. It's still live on Facebook. End meeting.